Warning: the sound effects used in the duration of the episode may cause feelings of anxiety or stress. Please be cautious while driving, as some loud sounds may startle you.
Everything is dark. All you hear is the faint sound of nature being drowned out by a ringing.
Your eyes start to open. Your vision is blurry.
Ow, my head, you say as you sit up.
You look around, trying to focus your vision on what you are seeing. You are in a swamp.
All of your senses are starting to return. Your vision is getting clearer, the ringing is fading, and the stench of the swamp is becoming apparent.
How does this keep happening? You say to yourself.
You aren't sure why, but for the past month, there have been 3 times you've blacked out and woke up the next day in the swamp.
You stand up and make your way home.
You live in Japan. Your village has large farmlands that span the valleys adjacent to this swamp.
Every morning, you walk outside and meditate by the river that flows through the village.
For years, the elders of this village have made this practice commonplace, to pay homage to the water that gives this land life.
However, the times you blacked out have always been when you meditated by the water.
As you make your way home, you reflect on what could be making this happen.
You begin to speak to yourself. The roosters crow at first light. After I awake and leave my house, my first stop is usually the riverside.
You think about any notable differences from your times of meditation.
After a moment of hard reflection over the past month, you realize the difference.
The 3 times that you've blacked out and woke up in this swamp, you had first stopped by your village's cucumber farm.
The reason is simply because your family enjoys a certain type of stew, so you would bring a basket and harvest these fresh cucumbers.
Why would this change have anything to do with my blackouts? You think to yourself. Could it simply be a coincidence?
As you are pondering this seemingly suspicious coincidence, you notice the sounds you were used to hearing in the swamp have stopped.
You stop walking. Then you simply look around.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary. Why is the swamp so quiet?
You hear the sound of splashing water in the river that you just crossed.
You quickly turn around and see a slight ripple in the water, almost as if something ducked under the surface.
You keep your eyes fixed on the spot where the ripple originated, but nothing moves.
You slowly turn back around.
Once again, you hear the water, except this time, you turn even quicker.
This time, you see something peeking out above the surface of the river.
What you see is 2 big eyes staring at you with a small plate on top of its head.
After taking one look at this creature, you know what has been following you, and the pieces of your blackouts begin to come together.
What you see is a creature that has been known to haunt the waters of Japan for centuries, and is only thought to be a legend.
The stories that your parents and your grandparents told you of the mystical water ghost are true.
The demon that has been causing your blackouts is the elusive Kappa.
Welcome to Campfire Stories, a world of all things legendary and mythical, putting you, the listener, at the center. Each week, your host, Brady Montag and Joshua Cummings, make it their mission to tell you a story you haven't heard before.
Episode 6, The Kappa.
What is the Kappa?
Also known as the water person, is a Japanese yokai, which could be translated to ghost, monster, or spirit.
This yokai is described to resemble a monkey of a yellowish-green color, having either fish scales or a tortoise shell. They also are known to be the same size as a 10-year-old child.
The Japanese Kappa is known to be an amphibious creature, residing in bodies of water found around Japan.
In fact, the main weakness of the Kappa is dry land. The only way this creature can survive on land is if the plate on its head is filled with water.
However, there are more ways than one to stand up to this yokai. You can lead it onto dry land using its favorite food, cucumbers.
After it walks onto land, when it sees you, all you must do is bow.
Despite the mischievous nature and sometimes evil intentions of the Kappa, it is respectful by nature. It will always bow back.
When it bows, all of the water will be tipped out of the plate, rendering the Kappa helpless.
Keep this tip in mind when traveling around Japanese waters. Pray that if a Kappa is stalking you, it has no evil intentions.
Some of these yokai are just looking for fun or to cause a little mischief. However,
if you are unlucky enough to come across a Kappa with less than honorable intentions, it may try to put you under its spell and steal your soul.
it's staring at you. You haven't moved in minutes.
What is it thinking? Why isn't it moving away? You caught it in the act.
For whatever reason, it seems that this Kappa has taken an interest in you.
You begin to panic. Your heart starts pounding. You feel beads of sweat dripping down your forehead.
Your legs start shaking, and your vision starts to become blurry.
Within seconds, you realize that you've felt this same feeling before. You've forgotten till now that every time you blacked out, these were the exact precursors to this occurrence.
You remember the stories of the Kappa from your grandparents. You know this creature loves one thing above all else.
You had none in your basket. The Kappa must have taken them when it caused you to black out. But you think of another idea.
Seconds before you black out, you yell out to the Kappa, "I have cucumbers."
The Kappa raises out of the water ever so slightly, as if showing interest in what you're saying.
Your legs stop shaking, and your vision clears a little. You've bought more time.
You continue. Yes, we have a farm back in my village. I can show you.
The Kappa doesn't move. Then, it slowly walks towards you, out of the water.
Each step reveals what this creature truly is. It isn't the horrifying beast that preyed on villages.
It looks more like a shy child looking for a friend.
As it emerges fully from the water and walks towards you, you remember how one should greet this creature if one comes across it.
While keeping eye contact, you slowly bow to the ground and raise back up.
The Kappa stops, looks at you, and bows.
As it bows to the ground, the water pours out of the plate. The Kappa falls over.
As soon as the Kappa turns around, you sprint away, almost laughing that you tricked it.
"I can't believe I fooled that thing," you say as you run towards your village.
It isn't long until you begin to feel bad for your actions.
You slow down from a sprint, to a jog, to a walk, and then you stop.
You turn around and look at the fallen Kappa that is now so far away.
You think to yourself, wait, what if it wasn't trying to mess with me?
What if it was the only way it could get food?
Despite it causing your blackouts and taking you from the village, you realize it never harmed you.
Maybe it only came to you when it was hungry.
You sprint back towards the Kappa.
When you get to this yokai as it is passed out on the ground, you pick up this child-sized creature and walk towards the water.
As you arrive to the riverside, you slowly place the Kappa in the water.
Nothing happens. Then, life returns to the eyes of this creature.
It quickly swims away and doesn't bother you again.
However, to pay homage and give respect to this creature that is neighbor to your home,
To thank the Kappa for not harming you or anyone in your village,
you regularly leave out a basket of cucumbers by the riverside for the Kappa to eat.
and every time you do, the cucumbers are always gone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Campfire Stories. This episode was produced and edited by Joshua Cummings and written by your hosts, Brady Montag and Joshua Cummings. The warning, opening, and closing statements are voiced by me, Sam Montag. The sound effects and music used in this episode were produced by Artlist.io and BBC Sound Effects. Information regarding the topic today has been provided by Britannica.com and Sakura.co. If you have any questions about this week's topic or would like to suggest a legend or myth for us to cover, reach out to campfiremyths@gmail.com. This concludes Season 1 of Campfire Stories. We appreciate the support you've given us. Thank you for listening.